Mark Hoover along with Joe Pinola to start us off the spring season. Joe, a great matchup, hopefully for the Mustangs here. Early lacrosse season against the Panthers of Holliston. Last year, Holliston really kind of had Norwood's number, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what the Mustangs can do here. Early test for them this year.
For sure. Holliston was real good last season, qualified for tournament in D3 as they have for the last couple of years. But I kind of came into this game, as we usually do, looking at the record so far this season. Obviously not a whole lot to go on. But Norwood, Mark, coming off a win against their former counterparts when it was Norwood against Dedham.
Right.
They beat Dedham towards the end of last week. And Holliston coming off a 12-5 loss against Hopkinton. So two teams maybe with different expectations. Holliston maybe a little bit higher on the expectation end coming into this year. But Norwood hoping maybe early season success is going to continue to happen for them here in the near future.
Yeah, you like to certainly start your season off with a good solid win, and I do think that the Deadwood name back in the day was one of the greatest high school names of all time.
As most of the players would agree with you on that.
Yeah. And so, it's nice to get that first win under your belts. And Holliston, again, I agree with you. I think they come in with some big expectations. They've got some good, solid scoring, folks to keep an eye on. Jack Underwood sitting at the attack there is somebody definitely, number 36, will be very active in the setting. So we'll see how things are underway here.
Absolutely. And away we go. And that was Ethan Anastasia, number 7. If you remember that name, Mark, we were talking about this before the game, how you and I called lacrosse last year against Holliston. So you're going to hear some familiar names coming through. Anastasia was one of the ones that stood out for us. And he's right in there right away, giving Holliston the first possession of the game.
And my memory from last year was that the Mustangs really had trouble winning any face-offs. And in this sport, it's kind of critical and crucial to be able to kind of win that face-off to be able to then start your offensive zone setup, which is what the Panthers are looking to do here.
Right, and that's why you get certain guys recruited to college just for winning face-offs. It's such a specific role that you don't see in a whole lot of sports, but critical here to lacrosse. And the Holliston offense will be going up against I believe a new starter in net for Norwood, Sam Sweeney, who's a senior, wearing number 23. Will be tasked with keeping Holliston off the board here as he does so in the early going, making a nice save to start things off.
It's a great, feel for the goalie. Obviously, certainly a difficult position. You couldn't pay me to play it. But to get that first save under your belt is kind of a good feeling, I suspect, for the goaltender.
So Sweeney will certainly have to go to work. This is a team that Norwood struggled against last season, as Mark alluded to. Norwood dropped both of their games against Holliston. They had 3 wins last season, 2 of those coming against Dedham, the team that Norwood beat in their opening season game, and 1 also against Norton last year. Number 24 for Norwood is Matt Kickless, who is out there trying to pick up that ground ball. Seems like nobody wants it at this point, and eventually coming away with it is Chase Chastanet, number 8. Plays it over for 19, Max Conley. And here for Norwood is number 16, John Lynch. Lynch, I imagine, is going to be, no pun intended, one of the linchpins for this team.
Yeah, nice new jerseys this year for the Mustangs. So we've always mentioned, especially if you're calling these games to get to the far side, you can't pick up the numbers here, but with the nice dark blue numbers, it makes life a little easier for us as our eyesight gets worse and worse as we get older and older.
There's a shot from Lynch that goes wide, and Norwood rushing to be closest to it. It was a pretty close battle there between number 5, James Norton, who's one of Norwood's captains, and number 17, Caleb Greenberg, who I believe, Mark, is one of Holliston's captains, and another multi-sport athlete for them. Number 24 for Norwood, Kickless, in that role behind the net this season, plays it over for Norton, swings it out for John Lynch. Lynch, another one of those 3-sport athletes. Really important for the soccer team this season. We saw him getting some time on the third line with ice hockey. And now he gets tangled up here, and Holliston comes away with a pretty big turnover. It's number 9, Alex Roby leading the charge. And he will decide to dial it back as a sub comes in for Norwood. Subs on the fly for lacrosse, which looks a little bit like hockey. That's why, I guess, one of the many reasons we're going to see a lot of familiar faces for both schools here.
It is a sport that can kind of translate very well, and you mentioned there are a number of members of the Norwood High School hockey team that hang up the skates for a little while and break out the cleats here in the spring.
For sure. I have Langston Coyle in class, and Langston and I were talking about how his experience playing soccer and playing hockey, it was kind of like, hey, those are almost the best two that you can combine. You got the good cardio with soccer, and you got the stick skills with hockey, and kind of knowing some of those rules with the checking and the subs on the fly. So here is Lynch now as he sizes up number 23, Jack McElligott. He's certainly somebody that Norwood is going to have to pay close attention to. Number 17, Caleb Greenberg with that long stick is also something Norwood will have to watch defensively. Here's Norton now being watched by number 8, Kellen Dietz. And a flag flies here as Norwood maintained possession at least for the moment. Around the horn now. Number 9 is Owen McDougall. Nice pass inside.
Stick.
Holliston comes away with it, but we hear the whistle. A nice job as McDougall was looking to hit a cutting John Lynch, but Norwood will benefit from that call anyway.
Yeah, nice job though by Greenberg though to stick, get that long stick in there to take away the passing lane. But Mustangs thus far in terms of some offensive possession have been doing a nice job. Again, working the perimeter. Holliston on the other hand really haven't had a lot of the cutters coming through yet. So we'll see here with the man advantage what they can do here with 7:55 left in the first.
So Norwood with the first opportunity here on this power play, 6 against 5 right now. And I believe, Mark, is not going to end exactly on a goal, correct, the way that it would in hockey.
Right.
So you're going to see some differences as Chastanet controlling things for the moment. A hard pass over to the side that McDougall handles nicely. Norwood moving it really well.
Terrific job.
And they get the goal. Look at that.
I think that was Conley. Did Max Conley get us out?
Yeah, great movement from the Mustangs. Max Conley ultimately connects, but some very strong passing. I think you give the assist on that one to McDougall. I don't think anybody else got in there. And maybe a hockey assist somewhere along the way. We'll have to check the replay. But great ball movement from Norwood. A team goal, and it puts them up 1-0 with 7:41 left to go in the first quarter.
I tell you, watching that offensive set right there for the Mustangs, that is, extremely encouraging to see, that development from one year to the next. I look back to the games last year that we called, and there were a couple times where the Mustangs just didn't seem to have that, against the harder, more competitive teams that have that offensive mindset. But that was a terrific.
So here we go away with the face-off. Anastasia, against Chase Chastanet for Norwood. Those two will be doing battle often. And if Norwood is going to have success against Holliston, they've got to keep Anastasia from winning these draws. Comes away with it here now for Holliston. And we'll get a first, possibly extended look here at the Panthers offense as he gets around a couple of checks and dials things back. Number 10 is in now for Holliston. That's Max McErlian. And Max immediately checks out for the Panthers. And we'll get a substitution with Holliston maintaining possession. And here he is, Jack McElligott, number 23. He is somebody who gave Norwood some trouble last year along with Jack Underwood. You and I both singled both of them out before the game. Anastasia takes a hard shot here and connects on a goal. Wow. Not a whole lot of daylight.
No, not really, not much that Sweeney's going to do on that. That was just a terrific shot.
So one goal there for Ethan Anastasia as he gets on the board. So he and Max Conley for Norwood have the goals, and we're knotted up at 1. Gotta like that if you're Holliston head coach John Mulvaney. A really quick answer for Holliston, who potentially this could get away from them if they're finding themselves in trouble against the team maybe that they came in with a little more confidence against. This one gets put on the ground. McElligott scoops it up. Norwood had a couple players in there, including that long stick, it looks like, of number 28, Ryan Valeri. And you just see a couple of those players playing with the longer stick. Those are going to be some of those strong defensive players that are really good with ground balls. Not a surprise to see Valeri in that role for Norwood here as one of their captains.
And also on those long sticks, too, you want to see if you can't, be a little bit more physical. And again, Valeri with that hockey background, certainly not afraid to take the body, take a hit and make a hit. So
wearing the same jersey number he did with hockey. So we appreciate Ryan keeping things consistent, wearing number 28 out there. And again, a lot of his teammates are out here as well. Kickless now trying to get around Charlie Lansdale wearing number 45 behind the net. And Lansdale giving him all sorts of trouble as he eventually throws this back into the air. Good work from the sophomore defender for Holliston.
Yeah, Lansdale was a freshman last year, got himself a little bit of time between the junior varsity and varsity, and then towards the tail end of the year really kind of picked up his play, and his hard work has paid off and is starting long stick for him.
And look at coming the other way. McGilligan moves in, gets an open shot, and he delivers. Jack McGilligan, just like a lightning bolt coming across the field there, collects the goal. And, hey, if you blinked at the 7:41 mark, you might have missed the fact that Holliston now has a 2-1 lead after being down 1-0 to start the game.
Yeah, that was a very quick response. And, we talked a little bit about trying to get, body on somebody, and it almost looks like, again, the Mustangs, defensively are matching up, with the attack, but the middies need to come back and help even that defensive zone up. And they just kind of, you let McGilligan walk in like that, and he's not going to miss by much, and that's a tough shot.
This is a big ground ball that Norwood's hoping to collect. Valeri is right there and does a nice job scooping it up. Quick pass is handled almost by McDougal, but Holliston again with some great defensive position. This time it was Caleb Greenberg, number 17, coming away with it. Number 37, almost out of bounds, was Kyle Raffey.
Yeah, matter of fact, we talk about the body, and that's exactly what Valeri did. It wasn't a penalty, it wasn't anything rough, but you just knocked him out of bounds, and you get the possession.
Yeah, these out-of-bound lines a little bit different than football. So if you're just watching us, pay attention to those yellow lines. That's the lacrosse field that we've got to watch. So the field is a little bit wider, I believe, 60 yards versus the 50 for football. And obviously the goal is situated at the 10-yard line on either side. So Holliston with a 2-1 lead now. We'll get a couple subs in. McGilligan back in, who scored not all that long ago. And Norwood kind of left him wide open on that last shot, and he showed what he could do.
I think you're watching right there in terms of Lynch being a little bit more aggressive defensively on him.
Mm-hmm. And that's a nice ground ball. Norwood collects it. Number 10 for the Mustangs is Billy Connolly, who takes a hit for a moment. Swings it over for Norton. A nice pass into the middle of the field as he almost connected with Lynch. Chastanet collects it as a result, and now finds an opportunity for Kickless behind the net. Bit of a mad scramble. Matt comes away with it, tries the back door, and he gets pushed to the ground as he's unable to find the back of the net.
Well, that was quite a scramble out in front there. Had that chance as he came around behind the net, as it looked like Kelly the sophomore was out of the net real quick, but managed to regroup, and Holliston will get possession back.
Tell you, Matt Kickless found himself in a great spot on that one, and everyone kind of knew he was coming towards the back door, and it worked out for him on the play.
Yeah.
So now Holliston coming the other way, and they deliver. This time it's number 22, Emmett Flippin, scores that one, and Holliston has 3 goals from 3 different players. About 8 minutes into this game, they have a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, that's a shame, too, because, first of all, it's a terrific response by Holliston, but you kind of see a 2-goal flip right there, right? The Mustangs have themselves a chance down this way to maybe get it close to tie it potentially at 2, and then unable to capitalize on their one attack, and then Holliston answers with a goal there by flipping.
Now, when you said a 2-goal flip there, are you trying to pull the punt on that one? Because it was pretty well done. Got to give credit where credit is due.
Yes, I was.
Holliston also really mixing up their offense here. We see Jake Brodsky, number 46, enter the game. That position kind of to the left of Anastasia off the draw has been kind of a revolving door for the Panthers. Interesting to see in the first quarter here. They've got Nolan Flippin, wearing number 6 out there as well, although as I say that, he takes a substitution. And we're going to get number 9, Alex Roby, back in the game, as now Holliston gets the engine started. Moving on in with some space, and
I think
did it go through? He did. Kind of went through the back of the goal. It's Owen McLeod.
Yeah.
And Holliston is piling it on here. 4 goals in the last 4 minutes for the Panthers. And this game that looked like it could be starting to go Norwood's way has them in trouble. And now Norwood will need to get a clear pretty quickly as they're having trouble doing so. Number 10, Billy Connolly, will have to go back to collect. He is checked the whole way by number 36, Jack Underwood. And now a long pass up sees a couple players go to the ground. And ultimately for the Mustangs, it's number 22, Matty Banks.
Strong stick by Matty there. He took the check by Anastasia and just kind of worked straight through. That was strong.
Showing some of that football player muscle he's got. Matty had a nice, successful season as a running back for the team. And now John Lynch will slow things down after taking that pass from McDougal. He waits a moment for Max Conley to get into play. Conley scored the opening goal of the game and is looking now for a second. Now back for Valeri, who finds himself on offense with that long stick. Here's Lynch. Gets around one defender. Shies away from that shot, but finds some extra room and shoots it a little bit wide. Looks like Norwood will keep possession, though, as James Norton finds himself in a good spot.
And it's nice, too, because you'll be able to swap out Valeri here to get the short stick in offensively and still maintain possession. So
2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. The Mustangs down. Well, Mark, we thought it was 4-1, but I guess that one from McLeod didn't quite go all the way through, so maybe we're a little bit quick on the trigger. Here's number 19, Conley, looking for some space. Looks at Kickless for a moment and instead throws it on back for Owen McDougall. Here's John Lynch, who's been directing the offense, at least in the early part of the game, trying to get around Ethan Anastasia. Norwood almost loses possession, and now they do.
Yeah, that was too bad because it was just kind of a tough pass, and once you do that, once that ball's on the ground, that it's kind of almost anyone's game right there. Because the Mustangs were at least kind of moving that around nicely. That was kind of a big possession for them, and I think even a bigger defensive stand here, as we're down under 1:20 left in the quarter.
Yeah, and that's kind of about how long some of these offensive possessions may take. Yeah. So, like you said, really important to the Mustangs. Don't let that fourth goal in. We were quick to attribute it, but hopefully the Mustang defense is not so. Holliston moving in with Roby, and a nice save is made by Sweeney to deny him.
And that all starts defensively again. If you're going to have the midi, make that shot from that far out, it gives Sweeney certainly a better chance to be able to pick that ball up. And so credit there defensively to the Mustangs.
And look at that outlet pass as well as he gets it up quickly to Chase Chastanet, giving the Mustang offense a chance with 37 seconds to go. Matt Kickless behind the net. He's marked by Charlie Lansdale. Kickless to the sideline, taking a beating there as he plays it back now for Lynch. Looking for some space. Thought he might toss it off to Conley for a second. He's got about 20 seconds left in the quarter. Lynch still with it. Now a lead pass. It finds the ground for the moment, but Conley takes the shot. He lost it. And McDougall will scoop it up, or at least attempt to. He battles here against Roby. Gets it back. Norwood will have to hurry. They found a streaking player, at least for a moment. Holliston will clear, and that will bring us to the end of the first quarter. Mark, they not only held Holliston on that last possession, but they almost turned it into a goal themselves. So some good fight for the Mustangs there to close the first.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially there right at the tail end. I mean, that was another really good cut, a really good look. It's a game of inches sometimes, right? And that would have been a terrific bang play, to end out the first quarter. But I think if I'm Norwood, I'm kind of thrilled with the way you started up with the man advantage goal again there that Conley got to start things. And then if I'm Holliston, I'm I don't know if I'm going to use the word thrilled again, but I'm pleased with our response, right? If I'm Holliston, that you find yourself down early 1-0, and then not only do you come back with 3 straight, but from 3 different players, right? So you're kind of working to be able to spread that offense out. Both your attacks and your midfields are working together well. I think some of the clears by the Mustangs have been very well done so far today. Offensively, they look very good. I mean, they certainly are working the perimeter nicely. I'd like to see them probably try to get a few more cuts coming through the middle to see if they can pick somebody up. But again, the Panthers' defense is pretty solid, so it's going to be quite a test, as we knew coming in between these two squads. But I think the Mustangs have really held their own there for that first quarter.
Absolutely. Yeah. They delivered the first blow as well. It'll be interesting to watch the growth of the Mustang team this year under second-year head coach John Lockhead. John, a teacher at the school, head coach for boys soccer. He was not a lacrosse player in high school, and it was interesting talking with him for a bit. He was very excited and chomping at the bit to get going with the boys soccer team. That was his sport at Walpole. But coming over here without much lacrosse experience, a little bit of YouTube, a little bit of help from some of his assistants, and away we go. Got 3 wins last season, including his first in his career against Norton. And I tell you, he seems to have this team with a little bit of extra energy coming into the year. They seem to be playing a little crisper, and I think with more experience, you're going to be seeing more and more of that from the team under Coach Lockhead and his assistants Nate Cameron and Eric Jansen. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of exciting to watch the lacrosse program, because obviously a number of years ago it was an extremely popular sport here in Norwood.
with the DeMaio brothers here, and they really kind of grew the youth program, and that obviously set, the feeder up here to the high school. It was actually, I remember, it was taken away from, like they were losing some baseball players.
Right.
Which is,
one sport goes up, the other goes down, right? That's the story.
Yeah, and here in Norwood, you lose baseball players. That's almost unheard of. But, and they kind of hit a little downtime. We know the time that we were combined with Dedham because we didn't have enough. They didn't have enough. Now both schools have been able to field complete squads, so that's, great news for both Norwood and Dedham. And so, yeah, you just want to kind of continue to build on year by year your program, and nice little turnover here. Get that started right away.
Hello, bit of a high pass there as Grady Lucas was looking to connect with number 15, Owen McLeod, who we initially attributed a goal to before, but the score remains at 3-1. So Norwood, who lost the face-off, I think, Mark, are they 0 for 4 at this point from the draw? They haven't been super great on that, but fortunate there. But Holliston takes advantage of a turnover themselves. Pierce Duncan is the one coming away with it. Plays it back for McLeod, and they'll slow things down. So Holliston giveth, and Holliston taketh away right on the other side. Here is number 22, Flippin moving in to try to get a chance, and Norwood stands up Anastasia, at least for a moment. They do again. Oh, look at this work from Sam Sweeney right now, Mark. Back-to-back saves from the senior.
Terrific job there, obviously by Sweeney, but also, too, defensively. Not really giving Anastasia, the uncontested shot. Make him work for it.
So the Mustangs doing some good work there as they were trying to keep Holliston off the board to start the quarter. Bit of a heavy shove there, and I think that whistle is going to go against Grady Lucas, as he might have used a little bit too much force there on number 8, Chase Chastanet.
I mean, I think the initial hit wasn't bad, but then as the ball was loose and Chastanet was down to try to scoop that up, the second hit might have been the one that our referee had to call on.
So here's Max Conley. Max has the lone goal for Norwood today, number 19. He and John Lynch have been playing at the top of this Norwood offense all game long. Now over to the far side for number 9, Owen McDougall, whose passing has been excellent so far. And behind the net, Norwood having a little bit of trouble scooping it up with Matt Kickless. And some nice work by number, I think that's 45, Charlie Lansdale.
That was Lansdale again. I keep waiting for him to make a mistake so I can blame his father for it, but I'm going to have to mention something on Wednesday when I see him at work.
Yeah, well, he's been doing a nice job so far, and almost got a big turnover there for Holliston, but Norwood gets it back pretty quickly with James Norton, who shows some good poise with Kellen Dietz right in his face. Here's John Lynch over for McDougall. McDougall got the assist on the Conley goal not long ago, and this seems to be where Norwood wanted to go a little while ago. Again in the back of the net to Kickless, and again another ball on the ground. No one can scoop it up. Norton is there for Norwood. Dietz is there for Holliston. It's Norton who comes away with it.
He raked that really nicely. Just stuck with it. Boy, a give and go would have been nice right there.
Norton moved in. Kickless almost connected there on the back end, but Holliston holds up defensively. So here they come the other way, and the foot race is on. Jack McGilligan, number 23, gets around one player,
nice
shoots
move.
it, and gets his second goal of the game.
That was a nice move, the way he cut inside, then made one quick little head fake, and he was just right in the shooting zone. That was a terrific run.
I think Norwood's defenders may have left their shoes at about the 25-yard line, the way that McGilligan almost in full sprint was able to deke around them. So an impressive goal by Jack. That's his second of the contest. And it is 4-1 Holliston with 9:26 to go here in the second quarter.
Yeah, he took that virtually end to end as he picked it up, and it was interesting because you looked at Lynch almost like he had an angle on him.
Oh, look at this, Mark. Norwood wins their first face-off of the day, and Ryan Valeri is the one to ultimately scoop it up. So Norwood has to kind of chase all the way back into their defensive end, but they do have possession, which is something that we haven't been able to say on the draws so far. So Sweeney with a little outlet pass here. Oh, this is trouble, and if you're Coach Lockhead, that's not something you like to see.
No, that's a shame. I mean, that pass across the way over to Conley, I mean, it's tough enough on a long stick, and Sweeney's got to kind of at least loft that a little bit to give Conley a chance. You kind of put it right at his feet, and not a lot that you're going to be able to do in that turnover in your own zone. Again, you won a face-off, and now you have a chance to kind of establish your offense, and now you're back defensively against a very dangerous Holliston team. So
Yeah, we've kind of been seeing the good things from Norwood coming in spurts, but now Coach Lockhead and the squad looking to see if they can get those things continuing. Certainly more difficult, obviously, for Sweeney to make the pass with what almost looks like a fishing net back there in goal, but still a pass that you want him to make.
Yep.
So here's number 15, Owen McLeod, at the top of the arc for Holliston. Gets it back for Roby, wearing number 9. He's guarded by number 22, Matty Banks. And now Holliston will get moving into the offensive end. Some nice work here by number 34, who shoots it just wide. That was Eric Georgilis, who we haven't called his name yet, but showed some impressive moves as well. It was just the shot was a little bit wide for him.
Yeah, nice job, though, defensively, as the Mustangs kind of crashed 3 guys down on him. But, boy, to Eric's credit, he managed to kind of fight through all 3 and he still got the shot off. So a dangerous player. And see right there again.
Here's Pierce Duncan, another dangerous player, and he's able to just come away with a save, is Sam Sweeney.
That's a nice pass right there, right? He just kind of led Valeri a little bit, got a little bit of oomph on it, and then Valeri, of course, now does the same thing. But the passes are just getting a little too low at the Mustang player's feet, and it's kind of hard to pick that up. You have to kind of judge that if you're going to take it off the bounce or you're going to try to catch it in midair, and if you get caught right in the middle, it'll hit that first bounce and it'll really skip on you, especially here on the turf. So
almost commit to one of them, right?
Exactly.
So let's see what Holliston's able to do here with second life on offense. Sweeney has been good, probably 3 or 4 saves already in net, and he made another denial there against that shot from Duncan. There's a bit of a sidearm shot. Holliston will keep possession on it, it appears. But the Panthers now starting to get more shots under their belt, and it almost feels like a matter of time before they're able to put one of these through if Norwood's not able to get an extended possession. Here's McLeod trying to find some room. Some good passing from Holliston. Number 4 is Duncan, who it seems like Coach Mulvaney has been putting different players in this offensive engine role, but Duncan drops the ball. Tries to pick it back up, takes a shove from Valeri as there's a bit of a scrum around it. And Mark still on the ground?
Yep, I think. Nope, there's another nice stick check right there.
And a lot of players around it. Eventually it goes out of bounds, and Norwood finally will get a chance to work a little bit here.
But again, that's kind of nice defensive work there. If you can knock the initial possession out, and then, basically what you want to try to do is put one man on body, one man on ball to prevent the guy from regaining possession. That's exactly what the Mustangs did there, and then Anastasia wasn't able to pick that up, so it worked well.
So here comes James Norton now. Norton, one of Norwood's, I believe, 2 senior captains along with Ryan Valeri. Coach Lockhead was talking very highly of the both of them when I saw him last week, saying how they really kind of set the tone for the team. They're both great kids and very good fundamentals between the both of them as well. John Lynch, also a very important player, takes this shot here. Good chance for Lynch. But he is denied. A nice save by Holliston. And number 31, Sawyer Kelly, who we haven't called a whole lot, but comes up with, I believe, whether it's his first save or his second, he hasn't been tested a whole lot early on.
Kelly, just a sophomore, and my understanding is really kind of adopted this role and really taken it extremely seriously. Works all year round on this. So, if I'm Holliston, I'm kind of excited. I've got, fairly, just a sophomore. I got him for a couple more years here between the pipes, so.
Absolutely. You got to be a special breed to play goal in lacrosse, don't you? You take a beating back there. Holliston now with some room. It's number 24, Grady Lucas. Kicks it over, and they connect with the shot. This one looked like, is that number 36, Jack Underwood?
I think so on the far side, yeah.
I believe.
One of the names that we had mentioned early on. But what a terrific pass there by Lucas.
Lucas had some daylight.
Stride, yeah. And, I mean, incredibly unselfish play, right? He's got some wheels and he's got an opening, and, he sees Underwood on the far side and hit him in stride. I mean, that was a pass that we've been talking about, it's been almost too low, too high. This one was right in Underwood's sweet spot, and it was just almost kind of like the equivalent of a hockey one-timer, like right in, and Underwood wasted no time in letting that rip.
So Anastasia for Holliston thought he was going to come away with the draw. This one pops open, and Norwood gets possessions. They've been better on the draw, and now they take a quick drive that is saved by Kelly. Good chance there for Norwood. They found an opportunity and ran with it pretty quick, but Holliston now trying to answer the other way. Here's Underwood again into the top left corner, And the senior captain has his second goal of the game for the Panthers.
You don't need to get started. He'd been kind of quiet, obviously, for the first quarter, and now with 4:52 left here in the second, he unloads for 2 quick ones.
Just a strong shot there.
Yeah, he's one of their leading scorers, one of the guys that they look to.
Holliston showing why you can't leave them open with a little bit of space, as Norwood has been prone to do here a couple times. But the Mustangs, again, did win the faceoff on the last one, so this will be important to see if this keeps up. Anastasia battling there. Actually, excuse me, it looks like number 37, Kyle Raffy, is the one taking the draw here for Holliston, and we hear a quick whistle. Another chance for Norwood offensively. They've been doing much better in that circle.
For sure. And again, what you need to do, though, now once you've got that possession, to be able to capitalize on it. And the last couple times down, I mean, at least they are getting, some shots off, and Kelly's had to make, 2 saves back-to-back on the last 2 Mustang possessions. So at least they're getting some shots on net now. What they need to do is get, obviously, some better quality ones. And they're still, I'm just, again, kind of looking, I know they're trying to set it up, but you need to start moving, guys away from the ball.
Yeah, this one felt like, Kickless is in a decent spot there, but kind of a forced pass to him again. And Holliston will come away with possession. So Norwood trying to find their groove offensively. They haven't spent as much time, it feels like, in the offensive zone for as many chances as they've had.
Yeah, the second quarter certainly seems to be more Holliston in terms of offensive time. I'm not quite sure what we're getting over here.
Yeah, exactly. A couple of players talking things over with the ref.
Our refs today, Mike Rayberg and Bob Angeleska. Managed to say hello to them this afternoon. So give them a quick little shout out for all the work that Mike and Bob are doing out there. I told them to keep it fair. They said they always do. So.
They get their exercise out here. Give them a lot. This is a big field we got. A lot of space to cover. And for 2 of them to cover this whole game and call it as well as they do, give it a credit to them.
Yeah, it looks like Norwood's going to take their time out here, and probably a good idea.
Well, in advance of a penalty, it looks like. They have assigned a 1-minute penalty, number 37, Kyle Raffy, on that one.
I didn't quite see what that was, because it looked like Holliston was all set to take possession right on the missed shot, because I saw Lansdale had it behind the net, and then I don't know what Raffy did. Maybe
there were 3 players kind of around Kickless on that one, and Kickless didn't look like he had too much of a chance to catch that pass that Lynch was looking to connect with. So maybe a little bit of contact. Like you said, maybe something was said. It's just a minor penalty, 1 minute against him, but either way, this is maybe what Norwood needs before the half to see if they can get at least 1 goal going into that break.
Yeah, and if I'm John, again, it's probably a great time to take the timeout, because you can draw something up, and really kind of work this man advantage. We know that that's how Mustangs got their first goal, right? Conley on the man advantage. And so Mustangs have been at least 1 for 1 so far today on the man up, and we'll see if they can't do it again here.
You'd like to go 2 for 2.
Yes,
we'll
exactly.
See.
Yeah.
Norwood's next game is Thursday. They will be traveling to Ashland, and Holliston will also be on the road on Thursday as well, as they take on Dedham. So Holliston, I guess, playing Deadwood in the same week, just at different locations. They travel to Norwood, then they travel to Dedham. This is a Norwood team that, last season finished number 42 in Division II. They had 3 wins, so obviously out of the playoff picture, but hoping to right the ship. They're already 1-0, so starting the right direction. Holliston 8-10 last season, but that was still good enough for number 16 in D3. And something interesting, Mark, as we get ready to go, in the playoffs, Holliston last year played Ashland, who they beat, and then they lost to the champion, Medfield. So a lot of common opponents for them, huh?
It's like, who didn't lose to Medfield?
Right. Medfield has been a force, and especially the fact that they're playing in the Division III.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable program.
They have been ruling that division for a while. Oh. James Norton just off the mark here as he took a nice pass from Kickless.
Yep.
Neat little play design that I'm sure Coach Lockhead was talking about in that huddle during the timeout.
Yeah, that was set up nicely, and boy, you could kind of. You could see his disappointment that he didn't finish that. Yeah.
Well, either way, Norwood gets some second life here, so exactly 4 minutes on the clock at the moment as the Mustang offense seems to be willing to slow things down. Oh, they lose possession almost on this one, as there was a little bit of miscommunication between number 16 Lynch and number 8 Chastanet, and they will have to do battle against number 8 Kellen Dietz for Holliston.
A nice job there by Holliston, because that will obviously kill some of that man advantage. They're down to like 15 seconds left here.
And this potentially, though, could work Norwood's way as another flag flies. We could be heading to another penalty for the Panthers as the Mustangs still with possession. Kickless behind the goal loses it. Coming away with it for Holliston is number 17, Greenberg. He throws his cross up in the air. And, Mark, I think even though there's only 3 seconds left on the penalty to Raffi, I think Norwood is going to get another chance here with the man advantage.
Yeah, that's too bad, too, because the Mustangs, a couple times now here on the man up, have just not been able to kind of make those, even the shorter passes. We've seen a couple little mental mistakes that Holliston is going to capitalize on, right? You miss a quick little pass like that, and someone, technically should be on you real quick, even when they're man down, So
away we go with now Raffi coming back into the picture, but number 10, Max McErlian, is now serving a penalty for Holliston. And there's a drive that goes wide of the net. A good-looking shot from Conley, who connected not all that long ago. But Holliston coming away with possession as they try to kill this one off.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Norwood right now, you've got an extra man. You need to get on this goalie. It's terrific job there as Kelly.
Look at this work from Kickless.
Yeah.
Getting all up in him, and I believe, Mark, does he have 20 seconds to get out of there?
Yeah, and I think, and he just launched it. But, I mean, you need to drop an extra guy down on him because you have a man up. So you have an extra guy, so there should be 2 men on the ball at all times, especially if you don't have possession. So.
Yeah, it's great work from Kickless as he gets Norwood the possession. And now he takes this pass inside, gets bodied around a bit, and Holliston with the long stick comes away with it. And we're going to see, is this a timeout now from Holliston? With 2:41 to go?
It certainly looks like it is. Yeah. I think Holliston had.
So they get the turnover, and they say, hey, let's talk things over.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea because you'll be able to come out, from your timeout, 16 seconds to be able to kill off the second, penalty essentially. It's been kind of back-to-back. So it's a smart idea.
So both teams using a timeout here in the first half. Holliston is up 6-1. We'll kind of reset things for you. Max Conley got things started for Norwood with a goal pretty early on with the man advantage. But since that goal, which came at the 7:41 mark in the first quarter, it has been all Holliston. Goals from Ethan Anastasia, Emmett Flippin, and 2 each from Jack McElligott and Jack Underwood have paced the Panthers, who have kept Norwood off the scoreboard so far in the second quarter.
Yeah, defensively they have really kind of clamped down and really have not given the Mustangs any decent looks in this second quarter. And again, some small little mistakes, right? Little things you need to work on, a little pass here that just doesn't connect. Especially a couple times, I think, when the Mustangs had the ball, regained possession in their zone, and you just miss that pass, and it happens. But, that kind of stuff, then it gives the ball right back to Holliston in your zone, and that's just tough to do. So you need, what's been nice about this man up is obviously we have, some more sustained offensive zone time.
It's about 16 seconds, it looks like, remaining on the penalty to McErlian. So let's see the way Norwood will decide to draw things up.
I was going to say so.
Holliston.
Yeah.
And they find a player right wide open in the middle of the field. It's Alex Roby coming across, and Holliston, even down 1, now has some offensive time to kill off the rest of this penalty. Great work from the team to get Roby open in space, and he kind of did the rest.
Yeah.
So he'll dish on back now. Panthers now with number 22, Emmett Flippin, finds a man inside. McElligott couldn't handle it for a moment, and he will dish it back now for Roby. 2:10 remaining on the clock as Holliston kills off back-to-back penalties, keeping Norwood still off the scoreboard in the second quarter.
Yeah, that was a terrific job there by Roby, though, when he was able to break free and then just kind of...
There he is again. Nice pass. Almost connected there on the far side. Nobody was covering. I think that was McElligott, number 23. Actually, it was number 4, Pierce Duncan. Nobody had him for a moment. Now Duncan will collect the ground ball behind the net, keeping possession with the Panthers. Minute 35 here in the first half. Holliston up 6-1 as they have killed off the penalty to McErlian. And now they look to add some offense. But this one goes just off the cross of Jack Underwood. He barely collects it in range.
That's good hustle.
And now takes the shot and shoots it just wide. But possession stays with the Panthers.
Terrific hustle. Look across the way. I'm not quite sure who's going off. A little gimpy for the Mustangs. It looks like that might be Maddie Banks.
I think so. Maddie Banks has been involved in some physical play here early on, and he'll take a breather here to close out the first half. Norwood will turn to, looks like...
Is that Coyle? Is that Langston Coyle?
I think so. Number 17, Langston Coyle, entering the game. He was somebody else who Coach Lockhead was talking very positively about to me last week, saying that Langston's a strong kid and kind of helps to anchor them defensively. So not a surprise that Norwood wants him in here. But Holliston now giving Sweeney fits. And who's going to get this ground ball? It's a battle here between number 15, McLeod, and some of the Norwood players. Holliston comes away with it now with 48 seconds. McLeod deking around a couple of players. Still with it. And we're going to see another timeout.
Yeah, again, you've got 41 seconds. You've got possession. You might as well see what you can do. Exactly right. I mean, the hard part on that last play there, I think Sam Sweeney just kind of forgot that, there was other folks around, and then defensively for Holliston, they were able to hop on him real quick.
Yeah, Sweeney kind of under siege with nobody around him.
Exactly. So.
And Holliston now, I'm sure, wants to deliver a big punch here with these 41.1 seconds. Mark, head coach John Mulvaney has been really good in his tenure here at Holliston, bringing them back into the playoffs now in his 8th season. It's been a pretty good staff for them.
Yeah, he's done well. I know his son is also working as one of his assistant coaches, and they have really grown the high school program. And I know that they're, again, we talk about the youth program here in Norwood many years ago that was just so big. The Holliston youth program is huge. So I think, in terms of Holliston lacrosse, it has just continued to grow. We saw how well they did last year in terms of winning that first, division game there in the playoffs. Obviously, running into a buzzsaw that is Medfield, but this squad here is extremely talented, fairly young. It's also kind of nice if you look at the Mustangs. Also, Mustangs fairly young in terms of number of underclassmen that will be coming back. You talk about Sam Sweeney, our goaltender, but Frank Frucci, the freshman, has. Again, I know his dad, so that apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. He's decided that he wants to try this goaltending thing. So, so it's nice having a freshman ready to step in next year, hopefully as a sophomore if he sticks with it. So the goaltending is just so huge in this sport to be able to find one that wants to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
And again, Sawyer Kelly here for Holliston has kind of really adopted the position. Frucci and Sweeney for the Mustangs. So big 37 seconds here for both squads.
Yeah, and away we go. And Holliston having a little bit of trouble possessioning it in the early going. We saw a very similar situation to close out the first quarter. Norwood not only held Holliston off the board, but almost turned that into a scoring chance themselves. Let's see if they can do the same. Alex Roby back for Jack McGilligan. And here is Emmett Flippin who takes the shot. And it goes right into the cross of Sam Sweeney. A nice save from the senior.
Terrific save. I mean, it was nice to, again.
Now Norwood's going to have to hurry, though. Norton here with 2 seconds. Number 28 with it for the Mustangs. That's Valeri. And time will run out before Norwood's able to get the shot off.
Still a fantastic 35 seconds of defense for the Mustangs to close out that second quarter. And again, on that last shot, it was really nice in terms of Sweeney being able to, it was just a clear vision all the way down. He was able to see that, make that save, and keep it close at 6-1.
Yeah, that looks like probably the cleanest save he's had all day, and it comes at an opportune time. But unfortunately for the Mustangs, they find themselves down 6-1. Them and Coach John Lockhead will talk things over. We hope that you will join us on the other side. 6-1 Panthers here from the School on the Hill. Join us soon for the second half here on NCM.
All right, well, welcome back. Ready to get underway here in the third quarter as the Mustangs, Joe, find themselves down 6-1. I think this first couple minutes here are going to be probably pretty important for both squads, but I think even more so certainly for the Mustangs if they want to get themselves back into this one.
Hey, you want to make a statement, just kind of like you did to open the game. See if you can kind of stop some of Holliston's scoring tide, although Norwood did a good job keeping them off the board. You certainly don't want to give up a goal to close that first half, and they did a nice job preventing that. Either way, Holliston, though, starts this quarter the same way they've done the last two. A face-off win from Ethan Anastasia and immediately ushering it into the offensive end. Jake Brodsky is out there wearing number 46 for Holliston at the moment. They will get one of their other players off to bring in Jack McGilligan, number 23. Jack has 2 goals in this game so far, as does the other Jack on the roster, number 36, Jack Underwood. But here is Pierce Duncan, who takes a little bit of a chance at the net. I think he found himself trying a little bit of a backhand play there and didn't quite work. And Norwood gets a nice turnover here in the first minute.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see if, again, Sweeney can kind of find someone to get open. You got a lot of guys that are just kind of standing still. Mm-hmm. Look to go far side there, and then
hey, found a nice little pass. Yep. Find his way to McDougall. Oh, look at this attempt from McDougall as he almost connected with Kickless there on the backside. But Sawyer Kelly was there. A nice save. Good play. Outlet pass to Charlie Lansdale, who made an immediate pivot to Caleb Greenberg. Nice job by Charlie. That's an underrated pass right there.
Fantastic, job of transition there by the Panthers to be able to go tender to D, and then they were able to actually get it into Norwood zone within, seconds. That's great transition lacrosse right there.
And that was a strong drive from Underwood. I'm not sure if that hit John Wallington, number 7, on that one. But John was kind of shaking it off a little bit as Jack almost looked like he didn't care if anyone was in the way. He was going to drive it as hard as he could. And John did a nice job of standing him down there. Norwood's got a couple new defenders here to start this third quarter. We mentioned Wallington's in the game, as is Langston Coyle, who closed out that first half. Mark, you and I were saying it doesn't seem like we're going to be seeing much of Matty Banks here in the second half, as he was not with the team in the huddle, and he appears to still be injured to start the second half. We hope he's okay.
Yeah, it looked like he tweaked something there just towards the end of the second quarter, because we saw him kind of come limping off, and then you mentioned in between the second and the third, while Coach had all the team together, I think it looked like he was getting treatment, so we'll keep an eye on that. But
a little bit of an opportunity for some other players.
Yeah,
we saw John Wallington did a really nice job on NCM doing a little bit of a promo for the game.
Oh, yeah,
got the
great.
whole team behind him,
Yep.
and he was doing some of the introduction. Really nice kid. I had the pleasure of teaching him in class when he was a freshman, and now making an impact not only in football but also here on the lacrosse field. But either way, we turn our attention to the Mustang offense. Matt Kickless has been busy wearing number 24, as he is chased here by Kellen Dietz, number 8. Dietz has been pretty important defensively for Holliston. And the Mustangs now with John Lynch, who John seems to be the one to kind of slow things down for the Norwood offense. As I say that, he makes a spin move and throws it on net. But either way, he's been kind of a source of calm for them as an upperclassman.
It's funny watching Kickless there on the last. He has put some miles on his feet today. But you're right, yeah, that seems to be the MO. They kind of get that ball back up to Lynch, and Lynch kind of slows things down.
Oh, quick pass into the middle, and good aggressive play there by Sweeney, kind of coming out of his crease there for a moment to collect it. So Sweeney's had a nice start here to the third quarter. Nice outlet pass up to the long stick, Ryan Valeri. And Valeri now over for Max Conley. Good moves from Conley. He's got some space now. Tries to move in and takes a couple of shoves. Holliston closed in quickly defensively, and now number 17 Greenberg comes away with it.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, it's kind of like what we had just seen Holliston be able to, transfer from, the defensive zone through midfield and back into the attacking zone. The Mustangs did that exact same thing. Goalie did a long stick to midi, and then just kind of ran out of space.
Almost thought they had a really nice opportunity with real estate in front of Max Conley, who we know has a pretty strong shot. Now Holliston with a long pass up for Lansdale. Another quick pass from him to number 22, Emmett Flippin, who has a goal today. Here's Underwood looking for the hat trick, slowing things down a little bit as he is watched by a couple Norwood defenders. Over for number 37, Kyle Raffy. Raffy, a sophomore on this squad, getting some key minutes for them. We've seen him get some of the face-offs that Ethan Anastasia hasn't taken. Flippin now behind the goal. Nice job by Pierce Duncan to handle that one as he takes a couple checks here from John Wallington. This one goes off of Raffy. He'll have a little bit of a foot race with Langston Coyle. And nice work from Coyle to scoop up the ground ball. Tell you, do something great.
Yep.
And then I guess conservation of greatness right there as he throws it over the head of number 25, Brady Carrero, I believe freshman who's in the game there for Norwood.
Yeah, that's too bad. Like Coyle did a terrific job of, and I'm looking at him right now, he seems to be hobbling a little bit on his foot too, whether or not he injured or tweaked something there too. But that's too bad because he had done a nice job and then just somewhat overshot the attack. But if he was favoring that knee, he was able to get back defensively right there. So it was a nice job to be able to kind of get himself back defensively. The tough thing about being in the midfield, if you're an attack or a long stick, you can go about halfway midfield and kind of rest. right? I look back here at, the defense and the attack. Meanwhile, your middy's got to go the whole way. So they put, speaking of miles.
Norwood did a nice job there. There's a little bit of confusion near the goal, and Sweeney comes away with it. So let's see what they get going offensively. Here's Chastanet. And now over for number 25, Carrero. Brady Carrero, somebody who Coach Lockhead called out with having some great energy in practice. So that seems to always bode well, and the freshman getting some key minutes here. But Holliston once again working the ball up now in transition. Here's Emmett Flippin. Has some real estate, decides to kick it over to the side. And the Panthers now more than happy to bide their time as we're about halfway through the third quarter, and they still hold a 5-goal advantage.
Yeah, that's kind of a nice position to be in. You're able to get possession in the far side there, near side for them, and they're able to swap out the long stick and get two, attacking sticks in. So,
a couple of Holliston's players with 2 goals. Jack McGillicott, number 23, the one with the ball right now, is looking for his third. Takes an awkward bounce shot, and that could sometimes be tough on the keeper, but Sam Sweeney sticks with it. He makes another save.
And see, there was a nice transition there by Sweeney. That pass was up to the to the long stick. It was right up in his wheelhouse. It wasn't down at his feet or down by his knees. Unfortunately, then the second pass couldn't be completed.
Norwood almost gets a stick in there. John Wallington with the long stick right now almost kind of picks that one out of midair. And so Norwood very wise to that recent play, but it'll stay with Holliston. Here is Owen McLeod, excuse me. We're not positive, but we're trying our best to get the pronunciation right.
I guess we forgot to do our pregame. We apologize in advance for any butchering of any last names.
That's right.
Understand that some folks that just had a chance between halves catch up with a couple Holliston folks. I think some people who couldn't make that long trip. And
we hope Jack McGilligott's parents are watching as he connects with his third goal of the contest.
Gets his hat trick.
There's the hat trick that we've been talking about is on the doorstep. But, yeah, always nice to see the opposing fans out here, and Holliston's brought a number of them.
Yeah, they travel well, and being able to have this one live, that there might be some folks at home or maybe at work catching the tail end of this match.
Seems like Holliston-Norwood is becoming a game that we're carrying regularly.
Exactly.
At least the second year in a row that you and I have been on the call for it.
Right. We'll get to know all these kids as they graduate.
For sure. Well, either way now, McGilligott's goal makes it 7-1 Holliston, so a 6-goal lead for the Panthers, who last season I believe the margin was 9 for the Holliston win against Norwood.
Yeah, it's like 17-5 or 17. Yeah, both times they were able to put up 17 goals on the Mustangs. So
the Mustangs, I guess, at that pace, holding them pretty well so far.
Right,
but
exactly.
We're hoping the Mustang offense can get going. But Holliston is kind of back in the routine playoff picture, which is a credit to Coach Mulvaney and his staff. This is a team that when Mulvaney got hired hadn't been to the playoffs since 2014, and now they seem to be making regular appearances. Obviously, they ran into Medfield this past season, but a team that could make some noise, especially if they grow what you're saying is a pretty strong youth program.
Agreed. Yeah, this is a program that is certainly on the rise, and one that I think that the Mustangs would like to try to emulate a little bit, as if we could grow the youth program. And again, it just kind of works as a feeder system.
Oh, a chance there for Roby, who had some open space. I was surprised he went with a pass back to Anastasia. But either way, Holliston will keep possession as comes over to McLeod. Owen McLeod back to the top for number 34. This is Eric Georgilis. Georgilis, one of the freshmen on this Holliston roster, but based on what we've been seeing so far, he's got some good stick skills. Gets it back now. Looks at Anastasia for a moment with 3:39 to go here in the third quarter. And now Eric gets in motion, gets around Coyle, takes a low shot that goes wide. But Mark Holliston has been in good position as they're able to maintain possession once again.
Yeah, again, if you kind of watch the way the Holliston offense is running versus what we've seen, some of the times for the Mustangs, there is a lot of movement by Holliston away from the ball, right? A lot of times the attention appears to be on the man with the ball.
Oh, nice move there and a high shot. That one had some mustard on it from Anastasia.
Yeah, but when you have a player like an Anastasia, when you've got a Jack Underwood that have got those really hard, fast shots, it's kind of difficult to keep an eye on everybody, because if you try to concentrate on just one, you got somebody else there will be able to plunk that in. Again, we've seen, McGilligan has got 3 so far today. So this particular squad can score from many different positions from many different players.
And McLeod is trying to answer there on the back door, doesn't quite get it. Coyle with a defender in his face trying to scoop up the ground ball, and now a bunch of players come in. Coyle gets knocked down to the ground, and play continues as Holliston gets it with number 34, Eric Georgilis. Wow, a lot of players around there. Holliston worked, but they keep possession here with 2:40 now in the third quarter.
I'll give Coyle a lot of credit. Boy, these last couple possessions, he has really worked hard on the ground balls.
And he's taking a beating doing that, too.
Yeah, because, he's given up some size there. I mean, there's some, a couple of those Holliston players. I mean, you look at someone like Roby and whatnot. These are some, those are some pretty big boys, but Coyle's right in there with the best of them.
And Coyle obviously has a little bit of experience with the physical play, playing on that third line for the hockey team, where he got some pretty significant time. But now out here in Lacrosse with a little bit of a different story. Here's Underwood, swings it over for Duncan. And now back to the top for Georgilis, who's been kind of the one directing traffic here, at least at this point in the contest. Number 9, Roby takes the shot, and that gets knocked down on its way to the goal. Norwood takes possession, and they get a good little outlet pass to Sweeney.
Play. Very smart play there to kind of slow it down, give it to Sweeney. Sweeney might be able to set something up here.
Yeah, couldn't quite catch on the far side. Was that, I think that was Ryan Valeri? I'm seeing the number 28, So a very veteran move from Valeri to get it to his keeper, and that allows Norwood to bring it into the offensive end. But just, Mark, as they've done time and time again, they can't seem to string a couple passes together, as this one, I believe, from either Lynch or Billy Conley, I couldn't find the number, goes sailing right over his teammate's head.
Yeah, that's a shame, too. And again, what we've seen here with the Holliston is like a lot of their passes when they're transitioning, Langston's smart enough to get back on that, but they've been fairly shorter passes, right? You're not trying to make these long, touchdown passes.
Right.
And it's a lot easier if you're going 10 or 15 yards versus trying to throw it 35 or 40 yards. And I think the Mustangs need to kind of shorten up some of their passing lanes, especially on that transition.
And it can be quick, but obviously that's why, those fundamentals really important in all these sports, and especially just the quick passes here in Lacrosse. So here comes number 22, Emmett Flippin, moving in. Norwood closes in on him defensively as he kicks it back to McGilligan. Now to the far side for McLeod. He takes the rip, and a nice save by Sweeney. Ball still on the ground. Dangerous play, but Sweeney comes away with it.
That was an important here. As you're under a minute, I was just about to say, when Holliston came into the zone, you got about a minute. You certainly kind of that same thing. You don't want to give up one late. So the Mustangs here with 32 seconds, see if they can't put together a couple nice, again, some of these shorter passes.
Oh, Lynch drops it. It looks like it just fell out of his cross for a moment, and McLeod now coming the other way. 21 seconds. Norwood gets it. Oh, do they get it right back? Still on the ground as these teams still fighting for it. Nobody's had a clear chance at the ball. Norwood is right in the middle of it with Carrero, and taking a big hit on the play was number 8, Chastanet. He was looking for the call, and he gets it.
He gets it with 5 seconds, and I think that's going to be Lansdale. Oh.
So Charlie Lansdale will jog on off the field.
I've been waiting for that one. We're just going to blame that one on his father. That's just bad coaching when Charlie was younger.
Yeah, not Charlie's fault, right?
Right, exactly. That's just Dad's fault. Blame it on my manager.
So 5 seconds left. Here we go. Norwood seems very content with riding out the third quarter, but they will get 55 seconds worth of power play time to start the fourth. And they're in this game. You could put up points in a hurry here. 7-1 is not unheard of.
It's not unheard of.
Although they certainly have the tall task ahead of them.
Yes. But if you think about it, though, I mean, it seems like that third quarter was primarily Holliston, right? I mean, I felt like Holliston kind of carried the offensive play. I don't even know if I'm assuming there was a shot or two, but, I mean, it really wasn't a lot that Kelly had to work with here on his end in the third quarter, and yet you only gave up one, right? So you kind of feel pretty good about defensively how that quarter went. Coming into the fourth quarter, I think you're right, Joe. I think you've got 55 seconds, that man advantage. It'd be nice to see that. I mean, that first goal that they had was just a thing of beauty.
Oh, it was perfect.
Was just like sharp, real quick passes, and I think that's what the Mustangs need to do here to start this off. They really cannot, kind of wait. I think they need to attack. And get, as they say, get some shots on net. Make Kelly work. He really hasn't had to so far today. On the other side, Sam Sweeney has been kind of under fire and has done a fantastic job. And then at the same time, I'd really like to see that transition time work a little bit better in terms of shortening up some of those passes, because they make the first couple and then their attacks are either too deep so that second or third pass is, again, you're trying to launch at 20 yards. It's just hard to be able to kind of scoop that up, especially at this level, right? I mean, you get up towards the college level, those passes can be made. They need to kind of shorten up some of their passing. But, this first 55 seconds right here, I think this is going to be, a really important start here for the Mustangs.
So the team's still talking things over. Holliston is ready to go as the whistle sounds, and Coach Lockhead will break the huddle with his crew. This time of the game, sometimes, especially if it gets out of hand, you start seeing some different players getting some experience. So it'll be interesting to see if Coach Mulvaney or if Coach Lockhead decides to get maybe some fresh legs in there.
Right.
Although Holliston has kind of been mixing and matching as we go, which has been interesting. Even early on the first quarter, it's not like they've had the same horses that they're just riding through and through. They trust a lot of this, like you said, relatively young team.
And I think that's what's nice, at least for Holliston, is you can do that. You have the bench that works well enough that you really don't miss a beat. Depending on who you throw in there, especially these middies who have to work so much. You need to be able to have like the fresh legs as you go along. So let's see what the Mustangs can do here with their third power play.
Away we go, and they get picked off immediately. Sawyer Kelly throws his cross into the air and snags that one. A costly turnover for the Mustangs, who will look to get it back, as we got two players chasing for a ground ball there on the far side. Ref throws his hand up. Holliston gets possession. And just like that, Holliston now has a chance to run some clock on this penalty.
And again, you got to remember, the Mustangs have got the extra man, so you should be putting two guys on the ball right away.
And here comes Emmett flipping now. Some open space as he gets around the long stick there of John Wallington. 9 seconds left on this penalty to Charlie Lansdale. So nice job by the Panthers. After giving up a goal on Norwood's first power play, they have killed off 3 penalties in a row, including this one as Lansdale comes back onto the field.
Yeah, well, again, Sawyer Kelly basically started that whole thing by being able to intercept that first pass as they were trying to get it down behind the net. Kelly read that extremely well. He's got some height. You see he's got some size for a sophomore. And he just, basically wrecked the entire operation. Yep. and Holliston was able to go back the other way.
Sure, Norwood's going to say, I just didn't see his cross in the way there,
That's
right? So Holliston unable to connect there offensively, as it was Brodsky they brought in. Of course, the Panthers are messing with me, bringing number 46 in when I'm expecting number 45. I was going to say, Lansdale getting an opportunity offensively here, right?
Hey. And, of course, it had to be 46, so the number was close to
That's right,
45.
exactly.
Yep.
But either way, here comes the Holliston offense now, led this time by number 10, Max McErlian, as he slings it over to the sideline. And I think we're going to see... Is it a timeout here? It looks like it, as the referee, I believe, pointed towards the Holliston bench. So a little bit of a surprise here, Mark, to see 10-13, Holliston deciding to slow things down and take a timeout.
Yeah, the only thing I think of is maybe, Coach wants to make sure you can get the right folks in on the field. Again, you had Brodsky who'd come in for Lansdale, and so maybe you're trying to, get the right folks back on the field at the right time. But, I don't know, maybe he just wasn't quite getting that feel in terms of what he needed from his squad. So
probably a good idea rather than let Norwood get momentum and just kind of run with it, right? But so either way,
a shame there for the Mustangs, though. That opportunity to be able to kind of at least put another one on the board on the man advantage. They just never really had the chance to even kind of get that started. It would have been nice, even if you don't score on that man advantage. It would have been nice to be able to see them again, kind of working some moves. Moving without the ball, moving with the ball, making some passes, making some cuts, working the picks. Little things like that when you have that man advantage, even if you're not scoring, you're kind of moving with the ball, making the passes. It helps to develop and grow some confidence again, right? Just for some of the little things so that come when you are playing, even, that, sometimes those passes now come even if you're at even straight versus, being a man down.
Well, let's see what Holliston's able to draw up. I mean, I guess they're in the offensive end. You got a chance to draw up a play here. So regardless of whether Mulvaney didn't like the vibes he was getting from the players on the field, he's got an opportunity to really put a hurting on Norwood if Holliston is able to score the first goal of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it looks like he's brought his horses back out because it looks like Jake Brodsky, who had come in for Lansdale, he's gone back onto the side. So I think he swapped him out at the midi position.
Yeah, I'm sure they want to get that third goal and that hat trick for Underwood, who I see out there. They've got number 4, Duncan, behind the net, as has been his usual position today. And here's McGilligan, who already has 3 goals today. He sizes up Coyle, gets around him. McGilligan moving in with the low shot. And a couple of players wind up on the ground. The Holliston players excited about it. It's the 4th goal of the game for Jack McGilligan.
And you could see the way Jack came in on one side, and what is really kind of impressive with his play is that he was also then able to switch to the other side, switch to the other hands, and he shot it on his offhand. And even that was still, again, that low shot is really hard for a tender because your stick is primarily, obviously, in the up position. And so to be able to kind of, unlike a goalie stick, which is low, to be able to twist that down is not an easy. So that is a terrific shot there by McGilligan. And
a potentially back-breaking goal for Norwood, who does come away with it. A nice ground ball by Langston Coyle, who's been really good on those today. Although, as I say that, he goes for the second chance and drops it. But Langston has been a good spark plug off the bench for the Mustangs.
Yeah, he has worked extremely hard. I think when he came in there when Matty Banks went down and has really played extremely well.
Holliston has gone to the bench as well. Number 40, Connor McGuire, is getting his first chance of the game. So with that big goal, Holliston may be now starting to turn things over to some of their younger rostered players. Either way, though, Jack Underwood still in the game as he kicks it over for Emmett Flippin. And now McGuire, who is kind of running the offense, moves in, tries to get around Coyle. Nice job by the Norwood defense as they close in on him. Coyle got some help from Chase Chastanet. McGuire kicks it over behind the goal now. And here's Pierce Duncan. Back for McGuire.
Yeah,
Connor McGuire, a freshman.
One of their freshmen. And, we talked about that youth program. His father is actually the head of the
and McGuire picks up an assist here.
Assist like that.
The goal to number 22, Emmett Flippin. That's his second of the contest. But give that assist to Connor McGuire, the freshman. Nice job.
Yeah, good work by him.
So Holliston's offense comes right back at it as they go down the other way. They've already outscored their goal output in the third quarter, and now it is 9-1. And this game is starting to get pretty late now for the Mustangs.
Yeah, so you got to kind of concentrate here for this last 8:30 on, again, trying to work on some of the little things if you're Norwood, right? We're talking face-offs, again, small passes, kind of stringing together a couple passes, stringing together some possession time.
That's a nice pass from Holliston after a nice ground ball was collected by number 6, Nolan Flippin, who's now in the game. Tried to get it over to McErlian, who couldn't control it, but some good stick work from Nolan with the long stick.
Yeah, Kickless was, again, getting a little over-aggressive. So it was kind of on that second hit that he got called for the infraction.
Yeah, Kickless is someone who is not someone who's going to shy away from a whole lot of contact. He has been in the fray, as they say, for a lot. And James Norton there trying to give a little bit of a check to number 7, Ethan Anastasia, as he enters the offensive zone. Ethan over for number 15, McLeod. Behind the net now for Duncan, where he's been for much of this contest. 7:50 to go here. And Holliston looking to reach double digits. Maybe they can do so with Alex Roby. Tries to shake and bake and takes a low shot. Nice save by Sweeney.
Save.
And good work, I think, was that number 18 for Norwood, Seth Noel, who's in the game, who was marking him right there from the start. So Noel forced the low shot, and Sweeney was there defensively. Good work.
Oh, see, and that's the kind of outlet pass that you're looking for. Boom, boom, just like that. Valeri gets it straight back over the Chastanet, and they were able to kind of put that offensive zone into effect. So that's a terrific transition right there by the Mustangs.
So Norwood coming now back the other way, trying to get the offense working. We saw Jack Forbush in the game, number 6 for them, doing some work. And now a little bit of a pile up there on the far side. James Norton almost tackled number 17, Caleb Greenberg. Not sure what's being said. We can't hear too much down there, but
I'm sure it's
tensions seem to be okay after that one.
I'm sure it's all niceties.
Oh, for sure. But either way, Norton finds himself on the ground, as does Greenberg. So the end result here,
I think Norwood's going to
looks
take
like
their
Norwood's going to do a timeout. Yeah.
And again, a smart idea, by both coaches. I think that, you're using your timeouts effectively and for purpose, right? I mean,
right.
For Norwood here, again, a chance for possession. You've had a couple nice, quick little passes. You've had a nice transition. You've been battling now down here, physically, because there is a physical aspect to this game. And the Mustangs right here in this past are not afraid to put the body on. And that type of work has been rewarded here with possession. So draw something up and see what you can do, coming out of a timeout. Again, you're down 9-1, just under 7 minutes. Not saying nothing's out of reach, but it certainly is a huge uphill endeavor from this point. So what can you work on now for the next 7 minutes, right, that you can kind of carry over to, practice for the rest of this week, for your next match, practice and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it looks like we might be doing that with a new goalie in there, as Sam Sweeney tossed his helmet to the side. Looked a little bit frustrated. He tossed his cross as well, and he's out there without a helmet. So I think we might be seeing Frank Frucci, at least from the sideline indication. Nice to see Matty Banks out there, although Matty's not wearing a helmet, so I assume he is out for the rest of the game. We'll have to check in with Aaron Andrews on that, but he seems to be not ready to go at the moment. So tell you, some chance for the youngsters now.
Well, and again, what's nice about this Mustang squad, again, if you look at the number of freshmen and the number of sophomores that are on this roster, you don't want anyone to get injured, obviously, but what you do want to have is, if that happens, and it happens in every sport, you've got, who's next man up, right? Who's the next player up? And if you get some playing time because, unfortunately, of an injury or for whatever reason, you better be ready to go. Yep. And, again, we've seen thus far today, Coyle got some time and has really paid off.
And it is Frucci in goal.
Frucci, the freshman.
So Frucci is in goal now, but the attention, at least for the moment, was on the Norwood offense, but Kickless turns it over, and Grady Lucas, with a nice job defensively for Holliston, comes away with it. So just like that, after the Norwood timeout, it's Holliston who takes advantage, and just has been happening very often in this game. They turn it right back over. So Norwood collects a nice ground ball. Look at that work in stride.
That's
as Norwood got there with John Lynch, and they connect with the goal.
And again, you look, what worked on that was, Lynch's pass down there to Kickless was just a nice short little pass. It was quick, and Kickless didn't even really, I don't want to say use the word think, but it was just almost instinct in net, and it was quick transition from catching it to shooting it, not giving Kelly any time to react, because Kelly's got to watch that pass come in, and by the time he picks up Kickless is already shooting it. So terrific.
But that's
there.
practice and repetitions, right? The fact that he was ready for that, took that pass, did a nice job. So Norwood saying, hey, now we're not done yet, as they collect a goal. They're first since halfway through the first quarter. And nice to see Matt Kickless get on the board, who has done some yeoman's work with taking a lot of physical contact. It's been a rough and tumble game for these Mustangs here so far. So let's see now what Holliston's able to do. Bit of a new look, the freshman Frank Frucci, who I believe we saw him on the hockey rink. I believe made the varsity team as a freshman.
The only freshman on got himself some playing time too. He was,
absolutely. And now he is tasked with being the goalie here, and there's not a whole lot you can do about that shot, as Pierce Duncan gets on the board for Holliston. He answers the call immediately and puts Holliston in double digits. It's 10-2 Panthers.
Yeah, that's kind of tough there for Frank. You're coming in, you've been sitting around, obviously for 3.5 quarters, and then to have to come in real quick. And again, that's a tough shot coming right around like that. So,
yep. And also probably hard because from the sideline looks, it looked like Sweeney was not too happy to be pulled from the game. So you're thrown in there, and you're kind of finding yourself in a bit of that awkward spot as the guy who the coach is going to.
Exactly.
Maybe against the better wishes of the starter at that point. But I'll tell you, that's some of the way these things work. You get 4 years here at Lacrosse, and that's it. There's no redshirting in high school right there.
That's right. Take advantage when you can, right?
So 5:30 to go. Holliston is up 10-2.
So let's see what Frucci does here. See, there you go. That is a terrific, gentle, nice pass. That's right in the wheelhouse there.
And they get it up quickly.
Yep.
And Valeri up to Conley, who's trying to do some work. He is checked the whole way by number 26 there for the Panthers. A little bit of a scramble near the goal. Not sure who it'll stay with. But, again, that good outlet pass and that second pass from Valeri, that was important. He's kind of been the one to lead Norwood into that offensive end in very successful ways.
Yeah, that's a nice transition right there. Again, small things that you can work on here with the final 5 minutes.
There's a good-looking pass that Lynch can't quite handle, but Jean does a good job sticking with it. James Norton hit him in stride. Lynch collected an assist about a couple minutes ago on the Matt Kickless goal, and now he comes in, getting around a couple defenders, try to throw it in front. Kickless comes away with it. Back out now for number 9 for Norwood. That's Owen McDougall. And McDougall takes a good shot on net.
That's a great save there by Sawyer Kelly, though, yeah.
So Kelly denies him. And now coming back the other way for Holliston. Number 24 was Grady Lucas. Back into the middle of the field for Pierce Duncan. And Pierce taking a couple big hits from John Wallington. Holliston, though, able to keep possession with 4:19 to go here. Alex Roby now on the far side. Jake Brodsky, Connor McGuire gets it back for him. And now number 7, Ethan Anastasia. Anastasia not showing he's a little bit more than a Fogo out there as he's been getting some offensive run here. Takes a couple of hits, moves inside.
Terrific
nice save by Frucci.
Attaboy. Well done.
Great save by the freshman. Exactly. Is it the first of his career, Mark?
It could be. That's his, well, we don't. I mean, I'm assuming that Sweeney played the entire Dedham game. But
hey, Norwood got a win in a close game, so I imagine they went to the starters.
Exactly.
So congrats to Frank on that one. We hope is the first of many saves here at the school on the hill. James Norton now with it for the Mustangs. Over to Kickless. Matt had the goal for Norwood a couple minutes ago and now throws it kind of into no man's land. He was trying to connect with Brady Carrero.
Tough.
But Holliston coming away with it with Evan Scaramella with that long stick. So nice to see him get an opportunity here. Now way back down the other way, 3:13 to go as the shadows start to creep in here in early April. April Fool's Day for those who are watching. So if this is your reminder not to fall for anything today, we hope that it comes at a good time. Here is number 8 for Holliston, Kellen Dietz, who is normally a defender, getting a chance offensively here, trying to find some room, but Coyle doing a nice job on him. Wallington steps out to help as well, and Frucci comes away with it.
Yeah, Dietz, the senior there, you could just see he just wanted to kind of let one rip.
Yeah, with that long stick, he's a big boy. Yep, and now Norwood the other way, they get the goal.
All right. Well done.
Look at that rip from John Lynch, who left no doubt about it. And Lynch, who's been doing some great work in all facets of the game today, gets the goal on the scored sheet to match his hard work.
Yeah, that was well-deserved. And again, I think all things considered, you talk about that transition. Defensively, the Mustangs did a fantastic job on that last one. And then quickly, boom, 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 and before you know it, you're back down the other way. Getting shots on net makes it 10-3 with 2:30 left.
And now talk about a tough task. Here is Seth Noel, a freshman, trying to win the draw against Ethan Anastasia, who's one of the best in the league. And Noel does enough to get Norwood possession.
Terrific job there by the freshman.
And he almost took a really nice pass. Valeri was looking for him in space. Noel comes into the game, and just like a lightning bolt, he ushers the Norwood offensive in.
Not afraid to mix it up, too, as a freshman. I mean, if I'm watching him right now, he is just right in the middle of all that action.
You'll like to see that extra kind of giddy up from him, huh? Good work from Noel, who came in and made an immediate impact. And now we'll see a whistle with McGuire around the ball.
Yeah, so, again, to his credit, Noel comes in, does what he needs to do, and then gets the quick change where the Mustangs have possession for the final 2 minutes.
So here's James Norton. Norwood is down 10-3, and the odds of coming away with this one are astronomical, but Norwood's still trying to get another goal on the board here. They've gotten a couple in recent minutes, one from Matt Kickless and one that John Lynch scored about a minute ago where he was streaking down the field. And now trying to do more of the same. He takes the drive, and he connects again.
Yeah, he does. Well done.
John Lynch with 2 goals in the last couple minutes, he is starting to heat up.
He's on fire.
Unfortunately, the game only has about 91 seconds left. But either way, Lynch with, he's been kind of keeping things calm throughout the course of this contest. Maybe now with a little bit more urgency to him, and he delivers. Nice job from John.
Yeah. Again, that's certain things that you want to see. What are you going to do all the way here to the very end? And Mustangs. If you look at the score now, 10-4.
Yeah, you're feeling a little bit better, right?
You pump one in here, maybe make it 10-5.
Well, what would be nice is this game was 6-1 Holliston at the half. That would mean that you were even with Holliston through the second half.
Yep.
And that has to be a great sign because Holliston has kept a lot of their horses out there through this. As much as they've gone to a couple of their reserves, they haven't wholesale changed everybody out here.
No, I mean, Anastasia, is, again, still taking those face-offs and obviously still very successful at it.
Here's Brodsky, a bit of an awkward shot and another nice save by Frucci, who, you got to be used to those hard shots.
Yeah.
And he stood in the way of that one that had a little bit taken off of it.
There you go.
Billy Connolly with the little outlet and then gives it right back. So good work between the two of them. 50 seconds left to go in the contest. John Wallington with it now. Plays it up for number 6. This is Jack Forbush. And now Langston Coyle with a chance to work offensively here. For Norton and now for Kickless. Oh, Kickless wanted to get it back to him for a second. Now finds a streaker in Valeri who tries to dump it in over the head of Kelly. That was a cool play.
That idea, things like I wasn't quite sure if Kelly was going to try to run that whole thing all the way down there to try to get his own.
Absolutely. Here comes number 34 for Holliston, moving in with space, takes the shot, and Frucci has made a number of big saves. Mark, he's looked good here in the last 5 minutes.
He certainly has, yeah. Again, that first shot, he's out there cold, and it was kind of almost like a wraparound, couldn't get it, but everything since then.
Well, 6 seconds left in the game. I think this will just about do it as Holliston gets one last heave to the far side. The players will watch this one like a plane flying overhead.
Just a bit outside. That one's not going to go in.
But either way, this game ends 10-4 Holliston. Mark, it was closer than it was last season between these two teams. We saw some good things for Norwood. 4 goals, including 2 from John Lynch there. Some good things for Norwood and Coach Lockhead, but it is Holliston that goes to 1-1 as they improve their record. Norwood falls to 1-1, and both teams will see each other later in the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if I am Holliston, I'm obviously glad to get that first win under your belt here. They lost, as we mentioned, their season over to Hopkinton, who's always a good quality program. So it's great to be able to even up your record here for the Panthers. If you're Norwood, I mean, if you look at that third quarter, right, you gave up just the 1 goal, despite the fact that Holliston kind of carried the play for the majority of that third quarter. And then, again, I think it worked on some really nice things in the fourth quarter for the Mustangs. That transition, it really looked a lot sharper there in the fourth quarter. Right? And that's stuff you can build on, right? Just little tiny things that you can build on. Short, quick little passes as opposed to trying to, again, throwing these home runs that just are really hard to kind of corral. I'm kind of like looking across the way and I look at Matty Banks. I think he is still limping pretty good over there. Well, that might be Sweeney. That might be still be Matty Banks.
That's Sweeney without the helmet on, but Matty as well, and a couple of the players taking their helmets off.
Hopefully they're all right. But, no, I mean, I think there was a lot of positives to be taken out from both squads. I think, obviously both squads have got some stuff to work on for the year. But, I mean, I think if you're coaches for both these teams, you're probably pleased. Norwood obviously would have liked to have gotten the win. But I think that you're kind of pleased with the way your teams performed in some of the basics and some of the fundamentals here today.
Absolutely. Thanks, as always, to our wonderful NCM crew dealing with the wind up here. It might look like a beautiful day, but Danielle DeMattia and Sam Gurney have been contending with it all day to give you these wonderful camera shots. Ron Marshalsea, as always, doing a nice job producing us. Jack Tolman's been walking around. He's kind of gotten the whole lay of the land, getting his steps today, and a couple others helping us out as well.
Yeah, I know Brian was in the truck. Kiki was down there, and I think one of the things that we saw Jack doing, he's working with another one of our students out there, Sammi Wood, she was kind of get the lay of the land here. So another probably future camera person who might be up there in the catching a cold and sometime in November.
All right. So thanks to this crew, we're happy to kick off the spring season for you. I know there's going to be a Zavarian boys baseball game that we're carrying, not live, but it'll be recorded for future broadcast. Right. And I think we'll be back out here for tennis in about a week.
Tennis next week.
Let's go. It's a boys tennis team that has been they've had some up-and-comers for a while, now seniors.
Yeah.
Tune into that one. I heard from the kids that should be a really good game against Norton next week on Thursday, I believe. So a lot of things coming up for you. For Mark Hoover, I'm Joe Pinola. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope to see you at another game soon.
Have a great afternoon, everybody.